tell you about a time once when I had this one friend in school. His name was Yaya. He wasn't just smart. He was the kind of guy who could pay me a compliment even when I totally blew it on a test. We were on the same page about everything. Cutting class, slacking off, hanging around the schoolyard like we owned the place. You know what I mean? One day, to make things worse, we both forgot about a big exam. Before I even knew what was happening, Yaya was shaking in his shoes, and I was just sitting there down in the dump thinking, "Welp, we're done for." Yaya leaned over and said, "There is no accounting for test results, man. You just gotta live with it." I nodded, trying not to butt in with excuses. Yaya was head and shoulders above most of us, but sometimes even he was on thin ice with the teachers. Once, the teacher called him out for butting in during a lecture. Yaya just shrugged and said, "Don't take this the wrong way, but I just can't stand boring lessons." Bold move, right? Still, Yaya was gung-ho about our plans, whether it was football or science projects. We'd drop by each other's houses, pretending to study, but really just going into deep talks about life. Yaya once said, "I have my heart set on flying planes." I was like, "Man, that's way over my head, but I respect it. Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't think I'd trust you as my pilot yet." He laughed so hard he almost fell out of his chair. Sometimes I felt green with envy because Yaya was so confident. Me? I was always slacking off, sometimes giving a hook to dodge chores. Yaya would laugh and say, "You're a hard nut to crack when it comes to responsibility." There was this one time I nailed a football goal. Yaya paid me a compliment right there in front of everyone. "You're head and shoulders above the rest on that field," he said. That made me cheer up for the whole week. Like, seriously. Of course, we had our hiccups. Like the time I butted in while he was talking to his sister. That put me on thin ice with him for days. Or the time I blew it by forgetting our science project deadline. To make things worse, I didn't tell Yaya until it was too late. And before I realized how bad it was, he was down in the dump, shaking his head and saying, "Don't take this the wrong way, but you've got to step up." It's a force of habit with us. We mess up, we fight, then we make up. Sometimes he'd say, "Make yourself at home," and I'd grin and say, "I am, you're here." Cringe? Yeah. But that's friendship. You know what I mean? That's the whole story. Two guys, full of chaos, learning how to break the ice with teachers, hand in assignments late, and live life on cloud nine when we actually pulled something off. Years later, we've not lost touch. We still roast each other, give a hard time, and argue about everything, even whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Spoiler, it totally does. Friendship for me is about going into the mess together, laughing when you blew it, and cheering up after the storm. That's it. No sugarcoating. Hash. Idioms and expressions used. Here's the complete list in the order they appear, with meanings. 1. Let me tell you about a time once when, informal way to start a personal story. 2. Pay me a compliment. Say something nice about me. 3. Blew it. Failed or made a big mistake. 4. On the same page, having the same understanding or agreement. 5. Cutting class, skipping school without permission. 6. Slacking off, avoiding work or being lazy. 7. Hanging around, spending time somewhere without doing much. 8. To make things worse, something happens that makes a bad situation worse. 9. Shaking in his shoes, feeling very nervous or afraid. 10. Down in the dump, feeling sad or depressed. 11. There is no accounting for test. You can't explain people's preferences or results. 12. Butt in, interrupt someone. 13. Head and shoulders above, much better than others. 14. On thin ice with, in a risky or dangerous situation with someone. 15. Don't take this the wrong way, a warning before saying something that might sound offensive. 16. Gung-ho about, very enthusiastic and eager. 17. Drop by, visit someone casually. 18. Going into, starting to talk about or deal with something deeply. 19. I have my heart set on, really want to do or achieve something. 20. Way over my head, too difficult to understand. 21. Green with envy, very jealous. 22. Giving a hook, finding a way to avoid doing something, informal. 23. A hard nut to crack, a difficult person to understand or convince. Nailed, did something perfectly or successfully. 25. Cheer up, feel happier. 26. It's a force of habit, doing something automatically because you're used to it. 27. Make yourself at home, feel comfortable as if you were at your own house. 28, break the ice. Do something to make people feel more comfortable. 29, hand in, submit something like homework. 30, on cloud 9, extremely happy. 31, not lost touch, stayed in contact. 32, give a hard time, make things difficult for someone.